As an Amazon seller, you probably get a lot of emails or messages if you're on Facebook or on Instagram from freight forwarders, usually Chinese freight forwarders, offering their services. And with so many options, you probably ask yourself, what are the things that you should check and make sure before you decide on which freight forwarder to ship your goods with? And in this video, I will explain you from my experience as a seven-figure seller that is doing it for the last 3 years, what are the things that I learned and really burned from, or I wish I knew before choosing a freight forwarder. All right, so even if you're an advanced seller or a beginner, I think that you would be able to learn a lot of things in this video. I went through a lot of freight forwarders, and I like to compare, especially when prices are very high. I like to compare shippings with a few freight forwarders to save costs, and that led me to again deal with a lot of freight forwarders and do quite some mistakes along the way. So I want to really pass this knowledge and share with you what are the things that you should check for. Even if you never had an issue, it doesn't mean that it won't happen. So it's always best really not to get into a problem and really be safe and not be in trouble by knowing this information. So, I will share with you a little story that happened to me recently in the last month. I'm still trying to, resolve it, but I'm not really optimistic. So Amazon, I have freight forwarder that shipped like 3,000 units, 1,500 units received by Amazon, and 1,500 units are lost. Amazon usually in that event you open a case with Amazon, you ask them, they ask you back for POD, proof of delivery, which is a document that you should get from the freight forwarder, and POP, proof of purchase, which is an invoice usually. So I did provide the invoice and I did provide the POD, the proof of delivery. Now this shipment was delivered via track, so there is no really a tracking number. There is no a carrier website like UPS or FedEx where you can show them that it was delivered. Usually for track delivery you get the POD, the proof of delivery, which should be stamped and signed by Amazon or by a representative showing that it was delivered. And my freight forwarder wasn't able to deliver it or get me this thing, and their excuse was that it's COVID and Amazon just don't sign on it, and they really disappointed me because it's a loss of like $7,000 or $8,000 and that I have to absorb. Now if I had a really reliable and freight forwarder, most chances that I wouldn't have this issue. So it's very important that you deal with a reliable freight forwarder that has enough experience in the market. And now I will look at some notes that I wrote ahead of time, just so I'm focused during this video. If you guys enjoy the content that I'm working very hard to provide and produce for you for free, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with any feedback or questions do you have, because I personally reply to every comment. And I will also appreciate your support by checking the links and the sponsors in the description below. That's the only way that we keep this channel alive. But the first point is make sure that they have experience with Amazon FBA sellers, because those things like proof of delivery POD that is signed and stamped, the freight forwarder that doesn't have experience with Amazon might look at it as not really a big deal. But a freight forwarder that have experience with Amazon FBA sellers know that this is a requirement in case there is an issue to provide this proof. And those little things, the labels and the position of them, the kind of stickers that they should put, all of these things are kind of unique to Amazon FBA when you ship goods to them, instead of just shipping containers or doing regular freight sea shipping. So it's important that you make sure that they have experience with Amazon FBA sellers. I would even ask them for referrals, so you can talk with some sellers, ask them how they are and what is their experience. Second point is that you want to make sure that they have enough experience with clearing customs and duties. And if you, like me and like a lot of sellers, Amazon FBA sellers, you probably ship DDP. So you want to make sure that they're doing it the right way. The codes that they're using are the correct codes, and the way that they're clearing it is legit. And a lot of Chinese forwarders using some, techniques or stuff to lower prices that are not legit. So make sure that you're dealing with correct freight forwarder, or honest, reliable freight forwarder that doesn't really play these games. It's very, very important. You don't want to get in trouble later on. um, Make sure that they communicate with you well. One of the most important things, especially when you have an issue, is communication. You need them, and you need them to act fast and provide you information fast. Actually, even if you don't have a problem, just checking your status. So if at the beginning you doubt, or you see some red flags or alerts that kind of concerning you about the communication, for me it's really a big no, because if at the beginning, before you are their customer, they don't really reply to you or being responsive, then who would guarantee that that will change after you become their customer and you actually need them? So that's the same principle that goes with suppliers in China. If you follow my channel for a long time, you probably heard me saying that's a lot. When you vet and you choose a supplier, this is one of the main things that I check as a seller, to make sure that they're responsive and they're actually doing what they're supposed to do. Um, and that's all, connects also to the customer service. When you have a good when you have a good communication, you know that they will do the extra mile for you. You know that they are there to support you, and that really shows a lot about how the relationship will be. Another great tip is, make sure that they offer additional services. Some freight forwarders don't have their own warehouses in China. They just kind of serving you as a hub and connecting between 3PLs or freight forward, like actual shipping, like the shipping companies themselves, like the ships, and local delivery services, to create like a virtual business. And if they don't have 3PL, that might put you it's pretty much a benefit. I have sometimes too many goods that I have to hold in China instead of holding them here, and the rates there are much cheaper and sometimes free. So you have to really make sure that the freight forwarder you're working with have a big warehouse. That way you can utilize this in case you need. And from my experience, I did use the freight forwarder warehouses in many instances to store items that excess inventory, or items that I have to relabel, or do some kind of things like that. So make sure that you're dealing with a freight forwarder that have a local warehouse. The more warehouses that they have across China, the better, of course. um Pricing, of course, pricing is something very, very important. But if the price is just too low and it's just too good to be true, then know that there must be something fishy here. They either play with the numbers, declarations, the customs. They have to do something in order to be that low, and usually it will come back to you like a boomerang. So make sure that you check all these things. So when you choose a freight forwarder, make sure that you get a couple of quotes and you consider all these points that I just mentioned, to choose the one that you feel most comfortable with. And even after you choose one, it will take you time to really build this trust and know whether you did a good decision or not. And that's it for this video. I wanted to invite you again to our Facebook group. It's growing and growing, and more people are, asking questions, engaging, and having access to me directly. It's only $10 lifetime membership, and I do it to make sure that we only have their serious sellers. So if you're serious about growing and want to become part of this community of Amazon FBA sellers, then make sure that you check this link. We'll put a link to it. And thank you for stopping by this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you want to get more videos like this one. And of course, like this video. It will really make my day. See you in the next video.